Parotid gland superiorly is bounded by zygomatic arc, inferiorly by border of mandible, anteriorly by the masseteric muscle, you can see here, posteriorly by the external ear and the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Okay, so again, we said it's bilateral on the face. These glands release saliva for lubricating and for food digestion, and it's bounded superiorly by zygomatic arc, anteriorly by masseteric muscle, inferior by mandibular border, and posteriorly by external ear and the sternocleidomastoid. Okay. All right. Now, the duct that transports the secretion is called the parotid duct, or in other names, it's called Stensen duct. The Stensen duct. Okay. The duct then pierces the muscle buccinator, and it will open in the oral cavity near the second upper molar tooth. Okay. The parotid gland will have a duct called Stensen duct or parotid duct that takes the content and pierces buccinator muscle and releases its content near the second upper molar tooth. Okay. Now, something that is important about the parotid gland is that um, so many things pass through it, include number one, facial nerve, number two, um, external carotid artery, number three, retromandibular vein. Okay. Okay. Now, what gives blood to the parotid gland is two things, posterior auricular and superficial temporal. That's the blood supply. Now, it has parasympathetic innervation and sympathetic innervation. Parasympathetic innervation comes from the glossopharyngeal nerve. Sympathetic innervation comes from superior cervical ganglion. Okay. That's the parotid gland. Um, Very quickly, I'll repeat again, just so that you know your notes. Parotid gland is a bilateral gland, and this bilateral gland is one of the glands that help release saliva. Saliva is a fluid that helps you um, moisten your mouth or lubricate it or digest the food. It has a Stensen duct that carries all the salivary juices by piercing the buccinator and releasing those salivary juices near the second upper molar tooth. The situation of the parotid gland, superiorly, it's surrounded by the zygomatic arc, anteriorly by masseteric muscle, posteriorly by external ear and sternocleidomastoid, inferiorly by the mandibular border. What passes through it is the facial artery, external carotid artery, and retromandibular vein. Um, and innervation, it's innervated parasympathetically and sympathetically. Parasympathetically, it's innervated by, what did we say? Uh, by the glossopharyngeal nerve, and sympathetically, it's innervated by the, what was it called? Yes, give me a second. Yes, superior cervical ganglion. Okay, and blood supply to the gland is by two things. You have the branches that are found here, which is the posterior auricular artery and the superior temporal artery. Okay, so next we're going to discuss the sublingual gland. Sublingual gland, it's the smallest one out of the three. Okay, sublingual gland is the smallest one out of the three. Um, and it's the most deeply situated. Okay, it's not superficial. Um, it's almond shaped, situated under the tongue. Okay, and bordered laterally by the mandible and medially by the genioglossus muscle of the tongue. Again, most deeply almond shaped, laterally bound by mandible, medially bound by genioglossus muscle of the tongue. Okay. Um, what do we else we need to know? Just give me a second. Um, yes. Secretions of the sublingual gland happen by a sublingual duct. Okay. And the sublingual duct opens into something called sublingual folds. Okay. And where's that one? Just give me a second. Yes, here. You can see also there's a submandibular duct. Okay. Mhm. So, as we said, sublingual duct takes on the secretions of the oh, that's submandibular, but here, sublingual gland. Um, what else do we need to know? Yes, vascularization, blood supply by sublingual and submental arteries. Okay. And it receives parasympathetic innervation from superior salivary nucleus and sympathetic innervation by superior cervical ganglia. That's a sublingual. So smallest, most deep located, laterally has the mandible, medially has the genioglossus muscle, almond shaped. Um, it has a sublingual duct that drains the contents from it into the mouth, near a place called um, the sublingual fold. Okay. And we need to know the vascularization, which is sublingual and submental arteries. And the innervation is parasympathetic and sympathetic. Parasympathetic by superior salivary nucleus and sympathetic by superior cervical ganglia. Okay. Finally, the submandibular. which is the one that I was talking about, thinking it was sublingual, but this is a submandibular. Okay. Submandibular, also bilateral, located on both sides of the face. Um, Very important for saliva secretion. It is located in the submandibular triangle, where the boundaries of the triangle are the anterior belly, posterior belly of digastric, and the mandible body. Okay. In this case, we can see them here. And you can see how this triangle is formed, like that. Um, just give me a second. It has a superficial arm and a deep arm. Okay, as we can see, superficial arm and a deep arm. The superficial arm makes the greater portion of the gland compared to the deep arm. Okay. Um, we also see a submandibular duct that takes the content of the submandibular gland through it. And it opens up at the sublingual papillae near the lingual frenulum. The duct opens at the sublingual papillae near the lingual frenulum. Okay. So the lingual frenulum is the thing that connects the tongue, the thing that is in the middle, and bilateral, lateral to the frenulum on both sides, opens the sublingual papillae, and this is where the submandibular duct releases its content. Okay. Now, what supplies it is submental artery, and sublingual artery. Supplies this gland with blood, submental artery and sublingual artery. Parasympathetic and sympathetic innervations. Parasympathetic innervation is by superior salivary nucleus. Sympathetic innervation is superior cervical nucleus. Or, sorry, superior cervical ganglion. Okay, and this is the end of the salivary glands.